Hey guys, welcome to the Unity 5 tutorial today, and I'm going to be showing you how to make a save system using the EasySave script on the asset store. And I'll be showing you how to save and load some simple variables, booleans and things like that. And in further episodes I will show you how to go about saving your character's position, reloading that, reloading from a main menu, and then loading in everything as soon as your scene starts. But what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you how to easily use the EasySave complete save and load asset that's on the asset store. The person who developed this plugin is very helpful and will reply to emails that you might have and will help you pass through it. So I thought I'd do a simple thing and go through this, the simple setup of creating a basic save system and loading within your game in Unity 5. So if you search on the Unity Asset Store EasySave, it'll be €32, which is about £27 or $35. And if you're interested in games development and making games as even a hobby, a business, whatever you're looking at, I would recommend doing this, and this price is really a drop in the ocean compared to what you get out of it, because it will save you hours and hours and hours of time messing around. So what I'll do is I will go from the basics of it and go into as much detail as I think we need to cover. So what I'll do is, whenever you're gonna make this, you want to start a new scene, and when you've done that you want to bring in the asset that we're looking for. So you want to do that, and you want to go to Asset Store, and you want to go up here to your download manager, and then we can search saving at the top and press filter, and we'll get the EasySave. And what you want to do is, if you haven't already, download it and press import, and import this package into your new scene. Now once that's imported, you can get rid of the asset store, and there's only one thing in my project that I've got standard assets, and I've got the controllers pack, which you might want to have an FPS controller to run around. I'm just going to get rid of this link because we don't need it for now. Now in our scene there's nothing going on. What we want to do is we want to save two scenes out particularly. So I'll save this scene out as, it's going to be our level 1 as an example, and what I'll do is I'll save another scene out, save scene as, and save it as menu. And we're going to have two different, so we're going to have a menu which we can load from, and then a level which we can save and load from depending what we need to do. So based on this, in our level 1 we'll have two buttons. In our menu we'll have a button. So we'll start off with the menu. I'll show you basically. So what you need to do in your menu to get something working, we want to go to Game Object, UI, and we want to create a canvas, and then it will bring the canvas and the event system. What I like to do is create an empty game object so I can put those two things together. So I'll put this as menu UI, and I will drop these two things in the empty game object, and they're just encapsulated in the thing. Now I will click on the canvas, and you can press F in your game view, and it will zoom towards it, or we can go to the 2D view, and we can see that this is the canvas that we've got for the screen that we're currently using. So whatever we place with the UI, if you're familiar with the UI, this will be straightforward, and you could potentially skip this. I might put an annotation in the video, but if not, we can go Game Object, UI, and we'll create a button, and you'll see that the button there is positioned directly in the center. And what you can do is you can leave it there, but I'm just going to put the button at the side here. And then what I'm going to do with the button, I'll rename that button by just clicking on it twice, or renaming it at the top here, is I'll just call that load BTN. I will open up the drop down, and there'll be a text box that we can edit, so here, and we'll just rename this to load. So that's all we've got for now, and in our menu you can see is if I press play, you'll notice that I've got a load button which does nothing because we haven't told it to do anything. So that's all well and good. That's nice for the menu for now, and we can tell its menu because we can see up here that we're on the menu, and we can jump to level 1. We're at level 1 now. Now there's nothing in this scene. Now there's a few things that we want to do. We want to do a similar thing, so we'll go UI and canvas. Then I will create another empty game object and call it just save load UI. And then I will put the two things that the canvas created together in one object. I will go back on the canvas, I will go Game Object UI, and we will create a button. Then in 2D, like we still, we'll click on the canvas, we'll have a look where we are. You can see that the button's there down at the bottom. Doesn't really matter where we put it, we can just stick it in the top corner, roughly like that. What I'll do is I'll rename this button Save BTN. On the drop down, I will rename this button to Save also. And then what I'll do is I will duplicate this button by clicking on it and pressing Ctrl D, and then I will just drag this out. And then what we can do is we can rename this button to Load BTN. Then we can change the text to Load so we don't get confused. Then what we'll do from here, we'll go off the 2D view and we'll work in our workspace now. So what I want to do is I will go game object, 3D object, plane. So this is going to be for the floor that we're going to use. So for the floor, I'm going to have 4 different floor pieces so you can easily see where we've moved to based on the save system. So what I'll do is I've got a plane there. What I'm going to do is create a material folder and just call it materials. And then in there, I'm going to create a new material and call this red. And I will change the color to red. Duplicate that 3 more times, call this black, we can call this blue, and then we can call this one yellow for the sake of this. And now here we've got the plane selected. I will just duplicate the plane 3 more times. You can see now we've got duplicates, and I will just select them and drag them out into the scene. All I need to do is select one plane, press V on the keyboard, and I can snap the angles to the corners of the pieces that I want. So I can just snap it, and now you've got 4 planes together. And the reason I'm doing this is because I'm going to add the colours themselves, or the material. So I'll change that material that's black to a black albedo. So I'll drag that on. I'll change the blue to whatever blue you might want. This is just a visual representation of what we're looking at, so you can understand it. And we can add red there, and we can set yellow to yellow. It might be slightly orangey, but it doesn't really matter. So now we've got that there. We've got 4 different planes almost. Now for this, we will tidy it up by having an empty game object and call this misc for miscellaneous items, because we don't really need to worry about it, nor do we need to worry about the directional light really. We can go into our standard assets, go characters, first person controller, prefabs, and we want to drag a FPS controller in. And that's all well and good. We've got that in now, and then we can get rid of the main camera because we don't need it. Now if I press play, you can see that everything's fine there. One thing I'll care to mention is if you do put your canvas and your event system inside an empty game object, make sure that the position is set to 0, 0, 0, or the scaling will be slightly out. So I can just quickly grab these 2 objects and just move them up. So in our game view we can see it now, and I press play and you can see that there's save and load buttons there ready for us to do things with. And based on our scene view, I'll go back into it, look at my FPS controller, everything's looking good so far. What we also want to do is I will create an empty game object, and I will have this as a manager object, because this is going to be something, and I'll set it to 0, 0, 0. This is going to be something that we're going to use to explain how it's all going to work. I'm just going to import in a texture that we're going to use later on, and I'm just going to set this to sprite and hit apply, and I'm just going to set it to 512. I might provide this if people really want it, but it's nothing basic, it just says saved on it. So we'll get straight into it now, because we've sort of set everything up and everything that we need to do so far. So what we'll do to start off with is we'll create a C# script, and what I'll do is we'll call this manager script. And for the sake of this tutorial, we're just going to have this manager script as a pretend way that we're going to control things that we do in our game, and these are the things that we'll want to save. And I will go through it as we go through, so you know you can open up this in whatever editing program that you've got for coding. So what we're going to do is in this public class for the manager script, what we'll do is we'll have a public integer ammo. Take everything here as just a pure example, and you can do whatever you want, but this is to show you how it all works. So we've got public ammo, public integer magazines, and this is an example if you're making a first person shooter game, something like that. This is a pure example. We've got ammo, magazines, both as public integers, and then this is an example. We've got a public boolean, and we can say if we've got a broken arm or something. This is just pure, as I say, we're going to be able to look into saving integers, booleans, and saving our player's position, and then going into doing other things. So once we've got our manager script, that's all we really need to do, and we can just add that to the manager object. So you can see we've got no ammo, got no magazines, and technically now we've not broken our arm because we haven't ticked the box. So what we're going to do now is go create C#, and we're going to create the way that we're going to save the game, and I will explain this as we go along. So I will call this simple save, and it's just telling me to change the line endings, but that's fine. Open up simple save, and now we're in our simple save script. We're going to save those things we just created in our manager script. So what do we realistically need to do? We need to have a way to talk to this script and ask it, right, this is what we need to save. So what we can do is we can have a public game object with 2 capitals and have this as we'll give it a name, manager script with a lowercase m, and this is going to correspond to the script that we've got. Then what we'll do is I'm going to write a public void save, 2 brackets, then 2 curly brackets below, and we want to make this a public void so then we can use it as our button, because we'll do it as a trigger, as a sort of button event for the button that we're going to use. So what we can do is we can write this as if we're going to just declare the script that we're trying to find. So we'll say manager script, so the name of the actual script, and then we're just going to give it a type or a name that we would as shorthand, just like we did up here. So we're just going to call this script, and then we'll say equal, we're going to say equal to the manager script that we created or we referenced up here, dot get component, and then 2 angled brackets, and then within the angled brackets we're going to write manager script with a capital, and then add 2 brackets and a semicolon. So what we're saying here realistically is we're just saying that the manager script that we're looking for, we're going to get the component manager script, and then we're going to be able to just save the values that we need. So with the EasySave system that's been created, there's documentation online if you need to look into it more deeply, let's say, but it's very easy, and like I said, it saves a lot of time because it's all done for you. And you start by writing es2.save, and then we open up the brackets, and then we can start by writing, like I said, that we gave this a shorthand name of script, and then because we referenced the manager script, we can then take any variable or anything we want to save and pass it to this. So we can say .ammo, and then we can put a comma, and then in quotes we're going to write in ammo, and then what we're going to do is we're going to do a semicolon. So what this is pretty much saying is that we're calling the EasySave, so es2.save, and then in brackets script.ammo, So we're just calling this ammo, and then we're saying that we're going to save it with a file name of ammo, and we're going to save whatever value is inside this integer into that file. And similarly with magazines, we do es2.save, open brackets, script dot magazines, and we can say comma magazines with a semicolon, and that will realistically just save what is ever in our magazines to a file called magazines. And yet again, to really bury this home, es2.save script dot, and then we can have broken arm. The scripting reference knows what we're looking for. We can do comma, and then we can call this broken arm. Add a semicolon. We can save that out. So that's really nice. That's pretty much the basis to saving that script and the values in it, and it will create files for us. So let's put this into practice. I will go onto the save button, like I said. On here you can see that I've clicked on the save button in the canvas. I'm going to add simple save to it. You can see that it's looking for the manager script. I'm going to add the manager game object to it. Then on the on-click event in the button, I will click the little plus box. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add itself to the game object that it's looking for. So at runtime, we are asking what do we want it to do. So from the simple save script, we want it to call the function save. So it's as simple as that. Now, if you right click in your project and you've imported EasySave, you can see that you can right click and go to settings, and here are a list of settings that you can do. You can encrypt your file, you can choose where it's going to save the files, but it's pretty good just set as default. You can open up the default save folder, and you can see there's nothing there in my save folder currently because we've not created anything to save. So, you know, is that any good? Right, if we press play, we expect that when we click save, you know, you won't actually see anything. So we'll click save. We clicked save. Did it do anything? We can right click on our project, go EasySave to settings, go tools again, and we can open saved folder. And it's saved 3 different files, one for ammo, one for broken arm, one for magazines. So that in there, we've saved 3 different files with the things in. But you're saying, well, how do we test if that works? Well, we need to create a really simple load scenario. So what we can do is we can create another C# file, call it simple load, and what I'll do is I'll open that up. So once we've got simple load open, we will get rid of the stuff inside the class there, and then what we'll do is we'll do the same thing that we did before. We'll do public game object manager script like we did before. Save that for now. We could do public void load, 2 brackets, 2 curly brackets below. Then we'll say manager script, but we want to make sure that manager script is the capital. And then we have script equals manager script with a lowercase, dot get component, angled brackets, manager script with a capital, 2 brackets and a semicolon. So like we did in the simple save, you can see that it's exactly the same reference that we're making, but we're just making it to this, specific to this function, so we've not made it specific to the entire game. Then we'll do something similar. So here we did es2.save, and then we specified what we wanted to save. Here we do script .ammo equals es2.load, and then we need 2 angled brackets, and we're going to specify what we actually want to load. So we want to load the integer, and from there is we can open up the brackets, and then in quotes we can say what file we want to load from. So we want to load ammo. So I'll go through it. We're saying that from our referenced script, we're saying we want to give it, in here we want to push into this file ammo, And what do we want to do? We want to EasySave to load the integer of whatever's inside that ammo, the file that we created. And similarly with magazines, script.magazines equals es2.load. Then in your angle brackets, you want to put integer, because again, we're looking for a whole number, because we've got so many magazines. Then in quotes, we want magazines spelled correctly, as you would expect. Then the only difference is we've got a boolean now that we want to load. So we've got script, and then we want to say broken arm. So we want to fill broken arm with something. So we say EasySave2.load. Then in the angle brackets, this time, just as if we're going to declare a certain variable type, we'll call it as boolean, in brackets, in quotes, and then broken arm as it's spelt in the other script. So save that. That is pretty much the be all and end all of that as well. So we can go to our load button, add simple load to there. It's looking for the manager script or the manager game object. We add that in. We want an on-click event, so when we click the load button, it'll do something. We'll click the little plus box. We'll give the reference of itself. Then we'll be able to access the scripts that are on it. We'll say that from the simple load, we want to call the load function. So when we do that, we expect it to load the things that we've given. So as a pure example to this, let's say that on the manager, you can see that there's nothing there currently. We can press play. We can run around, do whatever we need to do. This is the game running now. So if I unpause this, you wouldn't see any, you would see it go back to 0 if I change any of these values. So say now we've picked up some ammo and we've got 500 ammo. We've got 5 magazines and we've broken an arm. What do we do? So from what we did, we'll click the save button. It will have overwritten all the stuff that was saved originally in those folders. And now, once I unplay, you'll see there's nothing there. You go to EasySave, you go to Settings, you can go Tools, open up Default Save, you can see that they're all there. And they were updated very recently. Now, if we press play, like I said, if I go back onto the manager, you'll notice there's nothing in there. So, what we're going to do, we're going to expect to press load, and we expect from what we'd saved previously, we expect it to fill that content in. So we press load, and you can see now it's brought from those files that we just saved. We had 500 ammo, 5 magazines, and a broken arm. For the instance, say we're playing our game and we're doing whatever we're doing. We've used up some bullets. We've shot at some enemies. We've got 250 bullets, 2 magazines, and now we've used a medical kit, and we want to resave it. Click save. That's all well and good. You can then unplay it, for instance. And then when you come back to it later, there's nothing there. Load, 250 ammo, 2 magazines, and now the arm's not broken anymore. So really, we've just covered a few ways that we can do an extremely simple loading system. All we've done is we've got a script which controls how much ammo we've got, or whatever variables that you want to control, whether it's a boolean, integer, whatever values you need. Then from the save script, we've just said we're looking for the actual manager script that we created. We're saving the es2.save script.ammo, and we're giving it a name that we want the file to be actually saved out as. We're saying we want to save the magazines variable into a magazines file, and we want to save the broken arm variable into a broken arm file. Then, similar with the load, we're looking for the manager script again, and we're going to pass into that script. So we're going to pass into here. The EasySave is going to load an integer that we're looking for, which is inside the ammo file. We're going to load the integer that is inside the magazines. And we're going to load the boolean, which is inside the broken arm folder. And this is really simple because a save system only needs to be what you specifically need to save, i.e. Specific items, whether they've created certain parts of your story, collected certain items, and you need it to remember what specific things people actually have. And I will be doing a different a more of an extended video to show you how you can possibly go and save your character's position, and also save the scene that you're in and be able to load from there. So this was just the initial setup, and this shows you how you can basically, with some simple buttons, save and load values that you need in your game extremely easily using EasySave. So thanks very much for watching, and don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Cheers.